With what would seem like to be a never-ending release of HomeKit Secure Video Cameras this summer, Aqara is up next with the long-awaited G2H HomeKit camera that have been putting through its paces over the last 6 weeks, so continue to watch this video to find out more. Welcome back, and my name's John, and this channel is dedicated to everything HomeKit news, reviews and tutorials. So if you're new around here and you're not a subscriber, then hit the subscribe button and also the bell button to be notified when new videos come out. Also, if you have a question or a comment after watching this video, then leave it in the comment section below. If you like this video, please give me a thumbs up, as it's greatly appreciated. Just before we get into the review, this is the Chinese version of the smart camera, and I've been using this exclusively with HomeKit Secure Video. You can use it with the Aqara app, but I'm waiting for the international version to arrive later this year, and I will update this review with the Aqara features. Starting with what's inside the box, you first of all get the Aqara G2H camera along with a power brick. You'll also get a USB power cable, a metal plate for magnetic wall insulation, the adhesive pads to use with the metal plate, and also a quick start guide which is in Chinese. So starting with the design and some of the features, the G2H comes in 4 different colours: white, blue, orange and yellow in a compact plastic design. I went with the yellow version as it reminds me of Minion from my favourite animation film, Despicable Me. Around the front you find the lens which captures footage at 1080p and has a 140 field of view along with night vision of up to 5 meters. You also find the infrared motion sensor along with a tiny LED status light that is not overly intrusive. Around the back of the camera you find the speaker along with a port for a micro USB which provides power. The dome of the camera features a button which is used to pair with Aqara devices, and on the bottom of the camera you find the HomeKit code printed on the magnetic base. This base can be rotated 360 degrees and can be adjusted via an hinge. This allows the camera to be placed on a surface or use the included wall mount that is fixed to a wall. Underneath the magnetic base is a slot for the micro SD card which supports 32GB when used with the Aqara app. You also have a small pinprick hole that is used for resetting the camera. Finally, connectivity is provided by Wi-Fi on the 2.4 GHz network, which may bother some that would prefer it to be on 5. Now moving on to setup and how to get started. As with most HomeKit devices, particularly HomeKit smart cameras, I set this up in my games room that I use for testing devices. For reference, this room is 9 meters long and 5 meters wide. It's also worth mentioning that I used iOS 14 for this review. The reason being is that iOS 14 will bring some useful features relevant to this camera, but it did not affect the performance when compared with iOS 13. As I was only using this camera in HomeKit, I opened up the Home app on my iPhone and scanned the pairing code. HomeKit will find the camera. You can then choose a name, assign it to a room, and choose a setup preferences for HomeKit Secure Video for its recordings and streaming options. And once you've done that, it's available in the Home app and you can start using the device. Now moving on to HomeKit and HomeKit Secure Video. For the basics of HomeKit, I can view the live stream from the Home app and also use the push to talk button. One thing that's worth pointing out is how responsive accessing the live stream is. It seems to be near instant, whereas in some other cameras that I've used, it's not so good. Because the camera's motion sensor is exposed to HomeKit, this gives you the option to also use it as a trigger to trigger other HomeKit devices via automations. But to take full advantage of the camera, you really need to be using it with HomeKit Secure Video. To use this feature, you need a HomeKit hub such as an Apple TV, HomePod or iPad, plus you need the relevant iCloud account above 200GB. This will give you 10 days of safe storage and all the clips will be automatically deleted on a rolling basis. Now when you first set up the camera, you get various options to set up the things for HomeKit Secure Video. You have it for off, detect activity, stream, or stream and recording. Now personally, for an indoor camera, I have it set to stream and record when I'm away, but when I'm at home I have it to off. But for the purpose of this review, I turned it on to stream and recording for all modes. You can also turn the camera status light on and off and toggle the night vision depending on your preference. Tapping the live camera feed in the Home app will show you the timeline of activity recorded at the bottom. Apple has split these events to help you identify them into 4 categories, which are people, animals, cars or generic motion. I found when I was using this, it worked really well, able to identify different emotion events and identify them correctly. Selecting a clip plays back a recording. I found this responsive and played within a few seconds. You can also jump to live view to the right of the timeline. If you want to share the clip with friends and family, you can also open up the share sheet with various options presented. I found the G2H worked well with HomeKit Secure Video and it did a good job at capturing motion. But looking to the future with iOS 14, although it's not arrived yet, I've been testing it for a few weeks and used it with the Aqara G2H. This was mainly down to the fact that G2H will enjoy one of the additional benefits, activity zones, if you use it in HomeKit only mode. This feature will be useful if you're using a camera in your home and you only want to be alerted to motion in a particular area. With iOS 14, you can define a zone or multiple activity zones within the Home app. I found this in the main reduces the number of alerts I received, so this feature will be an enormous benefit when it arrives later in 2020 as part of the improvements to HomeKit Secure Video in iOS 14. Moving on to video and audio performance. The G2H captures footage at 1080p at 24 frames per second. And I found the video quality is good when reviewed in the Home app. I would also go as far as saying it's one of the better cameras for daytime footage given its price point. But just to give you an idea of how it performed in different lighting settings, then here are the tests. In daylight lighting, as you can see, the colours are still there and it's got the detail that you need. Then when used at night with artificial lighting from the lights in the room, again the footage is still okay and it doesn't appear too washed out. The video quality at night is good and does an excellent job of providing clear recordings. In this room, this is the image of when it was before night vision was turned on, and then as soon as I turned night vision on. The room I tested it in is 9 meters long, and walking to the furthest point, I could still make out objects. I also like to point out that despite the great night vision performance, the infrared lamps used for night vision is the least intrusive on any HomeKit indoor camera I have tested. Aqara has also included a microphone and speaker for two-way audio, which is exposed in the Home app. During my testing for the review, the audio was clear and you can hear conversations when using this camera. The G2H can act as a Zigbee hub to connect to other Aqara devices. Although for this review I used it with HomeKit mode, does not prevent you from connecting devices such as Aqara motion sensors to the G2H. To add a device, simply press the pair button on the Aqara G2H 3 times, then hold the pair button on the Aqara child device for 5 seconds. Once the device has been added, it will appear in the Home app. You can then assign it to a room or name it correctly. Although others have reported an issue with range with the G2H being used as a Zigbee hub, I found no such problems. I tested it with an existing motion sensor and leak sensors that I've already got connected to other Aqara hubs. I found no issue when using it, and for reference, the furthest motion sensor is at least 50 meters away in a straight line with multiple walls and appliances between both devices. So to sum up this review, Aqara has been around making smart home devices since 2015 and has made a name for itself by producing affordable HomeKit accessories. Although despite this, the company gets some bad press, particularly because of its roots linking it back to China. I personally feel this is unwarranted, as I use Aqara devices in my home that I bought myself. Yes, bought myself, not given to promote or to be an influencer, devices that I've bought and that I use, which I've had no issues with. Performance and quality has been good, and the Aqara G2H does not disappoint for me in this review. When I first removed the camera from its box, I was taken aback by the compact size of the device. The build quality of the camera is exceptional, and depending on the color choice, it could fit in most homes. The video quality is outstanding and is enough to monitor a home with a good night vision capability. I also like the fact that despite the night vision performance, the infrared LEDs that power the night vision are not intrusive. Also, being a fan of HomeKit Secure Video, this is a big bonus for this smart camera. I also like the fact you can use this in HomeKit mode and it does not need an active internet connection, unlike the comparable priced UFO indoor cameras, which for me puts to bed the worries that people have been saying that Aqara are collecting your data. The other benefit of this camera is the Zigbee hub and connecting other Aqara devices. So if you plan to buy more Aqara devices, then you have a Zigbee hub and a HomeKit camera all in one for more or less the same price as a hub. Normally in my reviews, this comes to the point where I say it's not so great for this camera, but genuinely I cannot find a fault with it. Yes, if you push me and ask, I could say some of Aqara's quirks in the app in HomeKit only mode are a problem for this camera, but in fact, I don't think they are. This is not about the Aqara app. This is about the camera and how it works with HomeKit and HomeKit Secure Video. So in that regard, the performance has been rock solid, and this is a great HomeKit camera. The bottom line on this camera, it's a brilliant choice if you want to use it with HomeKit Secure Video. Plus, when iOS 14 arrives later in the year, This will bring activity zones within the Home app, and this will give you further reason to buy this camera. The Aqara GH2 is available from Banggood, and this is where I bought this camera to do this review. At the moment it's £43, $59 or €47 for the version from mainland China. But as I've already said, it makes no difference if you're using it with a HomeKit. While delivery takes a little longer depending on your location, I've not had any issues with items bought from this site. However, the international version has been promised for later in the year, so you could hold off until then if you want to use features found in the Aqara app. Plan to just use it with HomeKit, then either version will work fine. So that's the end of this review. Hopefully you found it useful, and if you have, don't forget to give me a thumbs up. Also, don't forget to subscribe to the channel, and also don't forget to check out the other videos as there's more HomeKit news reviews and tutorials. Also, don't forget to check out the website and also subscribe to our social channels where we keep you up to date with all HomeKit news and reviews. Thank you very much. I'll speak to you soon.